Are we live? I don't know if I'm live because this thing will not confirm. We don't have confirmation. I repeat, we do not have confirmation. Maybe, potentially, sometime today. I'm guessing I'm gonna have to trim the beginning of that, but maybe not. Shields up, Ironbreakers. How's everybody doing today? So, today I'd like to talk a little bit about my take on cross-play, because, I figured I can't do a whole lot while I'm on vacation in terms of actual gameplay, the usual type of stuff that we do here on the live streams. So, I had something in my mind that I've been meaning to talk about, and that is specifically the topic of cross-platform play, obviously between Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and even, of course, good old PC. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have been aware of this pretty much since E3. There's kind of been this discussion going on between Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo, because essentially Microsoft came up with the Better Together, or whatever the hell that thing is called, for Minecraft, and they're opening the doors so that everyone can essentially play together, so to speak, Minecraft across all platforms. I'm not sure if the wind is affecting the microphone too much. I hope not, because it is a little bit windy out here in my location where I'm vacationing right now. Anyway, the whole point that I'm trying to make here is that Sony's not playing ball, and a lot of people are wondering, why isn't Sony playing ball right now? Like, what's the deal with this? Is Sony anti-crossplay? And it's like, no, Sony's not anti-crossplay. It's like the instant conclusion that I jumped for when I started hearing about this debacle that was going on was, and this is not something that's recent. This has happened pretty much during the E3 week. I'm just talking about it now because I had some free time and I figured I'd talk about it. So the only reason why Sony is not playing ball right now is quite simply because they have the most dominant platform in this generation. They have the numbers game. They're basically winning. And it is not necessarily in their best interest to make it easy for Microsoft or make it easy for Nintendo to catch back up by allowing their user bases to become healthier by being able to play with the biggest platform of all, so to speak, which, let's face it, right now the PlayStation 4 is the best selling platform of all. So ultimately it's not in Sony's best interest, so to speak, from a business standpoint, mind you, from a business standpoint. However, I do have to say that it's like, from a user standpoint, it is in everyone's best interest that cross-platform is as successful as it can possibly be. I think that just from I don't want to say a moral standpoint, but just from being pro-consumer, pro-user, Sony should embrace this. However, I also have to say that it's easy for Microsoft to take the moral high ground right now, but let's face it, if the tables were turned, right? If Microsoft was like tip-top, everybody was buying Xbox Ones left and right, and Sony was the underdog, right? If Microsoft was in that dominant position, do you really think that this would be a discussion that we would be having? Do you think Microsoft would also be like, yeah, sure, let's all play Minecraft together, it's going to be amazing? No, of course not. Microsoft would close their doors just like Sony is closing theirs, because let's face it, ultimately everything when it comes to this industry, everything is a business. Everything is a freaking business. It doesn't matter which company you like the most. It doesn't matter, which platform you game on. What matters is that it's all a business. And ultimately, everybody's going to try to do what is best for their specific company. And that is a little bit sad. Like, I really wish that wasn't the discussion we're having. As a matter of fact, I wanted to bring something else up about cross-platform, because not only I think cross-platform should be supported, just like as a default thing, like if your game is a multi-platform game, like you as a developer should already be thinking about cross-platform. It shouldn't require that much interaction between Microsoft and Sony to get your game to work properly. Like, I mean, let's face it. What's the name? Rocket League came out. It was already cross-compatible PC and PlayStation 4. That was already working. Final Fantasy XIV, also cross-compatible, PC, PlayStation 4. And it is great. It's a great experience because basically I can play with my friends on the PC and I can play with my friends on the PlayStation 4. It's just like super convenient. And then Paragon, same thing. Works on the PC, works on PlayStation 4 as well. Crossplay, straight out the bat. But not just crossplay. Okay, I get it. Crossplay is something that is, it's hard. It's hard to pull off because you have to get all things to align properly. Not everyone has the teams to necessarily support something like crossplay. But at least cross-progression. Cross-progression will already be a step in the right direction, which I believe that is what Fortnite is doing, if I'm not mistaken. Fortnite, I believe, has cross-progression between PC and PlayStation 4. But again, I'm not 100% sure on the Fortnite, so don't quote me on that. But even just having the cross-progression is useful because ultimately you can play with your friends on which platform you choose, and maybe you have a couple of friends that own PlayStation 4, and then you have another group of friends that own PC, or maybe you have that one friend that has a PC. And I'm not saying PC is not least played. It just happens to be my case. Most of my friends play on consoles. But anyway, it's like you have some friends that are on PC, and you want to play with both your console friends and your PC friends. Cross-play / cross-progression, everything would just work. It would be perfect. And it's something that we should definitely strive towards. Now, I'm going to push the envelope even more. I'm going to push the envelope even more on this particular topic. And I'm going to say, not only you should have cross-play, even if we don't achieve it right now, okay, understand, even if we don't achieve that right this instant, even if we don't achieve it in this generation, it is definitely something that we should be striving towards. But more importantly than just having cross-play and cross-platform, which again, it should just be part of course. Moving forward, that is something that all gaming companies need to strive towards. But not just being like that, having another thing that I feel is essential to this is if your game is cross-platform, it should straight up, you should get, like when you buy the game, you should get one version for each platform the game is being released on. So your game is on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, you buy one version, you get one copy for each platform, and you can play it on whatever platform you want. And this actually goes in line with what essentially companies are doing to us when it comes to video games, because we've been accepting the way that the video game industry has been selling us video games, which is actually, everybody talks about sell this, sell that, sell this. It's like, nobody is actually selling anything in the video games industry. What you are doing is you are renting a license. Sure, you might get a physical good, but ultimately, everything that is about games, it's software. And as with every software, there's always the read the terms of service. You guys know those things that we never read? That's where it says that you don't actually own any single video game you've ever played. At least, I don't think so. I think maybe in the early days, like maybe the 90s or the 80s, maybe you owned games back then. But nowadays, pretty much since the 2000s, you don't own a single video game that you've actually bought. You think you do, but you don't. What you do own is a license that allows you to play that video game. Let's be honest. And if you take that into consideration, then why isn't this license that they're giving us, why doesn't this license just work across all platforms? Why are you selling me a license for this specific platform? I mean, at least make it so that, dude, give me that license, but give me the license for all the platforms. So like, for instance, what's one of the next games that is coming out that is multi-platform? Damn it, I can't even think about it. Monster Hunter World, of course. That's a perfect example. Monster Hunter World is coming out Xbox One, PlayStation 4, later down the line, PC. Those are the platforms that are planned, right? Well, Monster Hunter World should just, and I'm singling out Monster Hunter World because it's a game that everybody's going to know about in my channel. But it's like, it should just straight up give us the copy that you purchase. It should straight up be a copy that will allow you to play Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Boom, just done. And I'm not saying you get to pick, as in you buy the game and then you pick, oh, I want mine to be a PlayStation. No. You're not getting this. I'm saying I get to pick whenever I want to play it. Whenever I want to play, I'm like, okay, now I feel like playing on Xbox. Boom, play on an Xbox. Now I feel like playing on a PS4. Boom, play on a PS4. And that way, even if you don't have crossplay, at least with one copy of the game, you can play on whatever platform you want. So if you want that, you have that one friend that actually plays on the Xbox One, then you can still play with that one friend of yours. And that is what I wanted to bring to this whole cross-platform discussion. So not only should Sony start playing ball, simply because it is the best thing to do for the consumers, period. Like, their argument, for those of you that haven't been following this discussion, Sony's argument is straight up a slap in the face of Microsoft. That's pretty much what they did. Because, like, reporters actually asked someone from Sony, and they were asking them, so why aren't you guys playing ball? They didn't say it like this, obviously. They phrased the question a little bit more eloquently, but I'm just going to get right down to it. They basically said, why aren't you guys playing ball with Microsoft with this Minecraft initiative? Also, why aren't you guys playing ball with Psyonix with this Rocket League initiative? Because Rocket League is also going to be cross-play between Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PC. And right now, it's for the PlayStation, so it's PS4. And so Psyonix literally said, we can do this in 1 hour. It's like, Sony says yes, 1 hour, boom, all platforms are connected. That's how much development time it's going to take them to implement crossplay on Rocket League, okay? And so it's like, Sony's answer to this is like, oh yeah, you know, we gotta take care of our users, because, you know, we got some young users here, and we don't know what Microsoft is doing out there. And it's just like, I'm sorry, dude, come on, dude. I mean, even Nintendo is playing ball with Microsoft. Like, what the fuck are you saying right now? Even Nintendo's got a way younger audience than any other console manufacturer. You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't even go there, Sony. You can't stand on that. And it's like, I'm a big Sony supporter, because, I mean, I play most of my games on PlayStation 4. I mean, even recently I got addicted to Elite Dangerous because it finally came out on PlayStation 4, right? So it's like, I think that discussion is ridiculous, and it shouldn't even be taking place. It should just be Sony be like, okay, what's better for our users, you know, instead of what's better for our business. So I do have to bring a little bit of criticism there, okay? But hopefully, I hope that moving forward, Sony actually sees that there's an advantage there, because, I mean, let's face it, there are some games whose user bases are so small that they just die in multiplayer, because not only the user base is small, it's also fragmented across multiple platforms, and therefore, whenever you're trying to get a multiplayer match going, like, you're probably going to end up playing just single player, because there's nothing you can do about it. So hopefully, Sony sees the advantage in this and eventually moves forward with crossplay, but I don't know. I don't know if that is ever going to be a thing, but I definitely hope that it will be. I see that Arseni just joined chat as well. I've been reading you guys' chat. It's kind of hard because it's really small and it's very dark out here. But I was saying that basically that'd be cool for Bloodborne as well, if it was like cross-platform, all that stuff. Arc 101. Now that I think about it, Sony won't even do backwards compatibility. Not too surprising, they're too lazy to do crossplay. It's not about laziness, though. I'm telling you, dude, they're not doing it because they have the biggest slice of the pie when it comes to the market right now. So it's like they're holding all the keys. So basically, anyone who gets access to the PlayStation 4 player base, so to speak, their platform is going to be a lot better off. So basically, they would almost be bailing Microsoft out in a way. But again, ultimately, that is good for the consumers. Is it good for business for them? Most likely not. But, you know, it'd still be good for us, the consumers. Anyway, that's my take on this whole cross-play thing. Like I said, I haven't talked about it yet because I've been busy doing other things. And